What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to another comic book review video where I say words from my mouth and you, the magically delicious, listen. It is I, your crazy Nicolas Cage, your steward of Gondor, your genius, billionaire playboy, basic YouTuber philanthropist, SuperCliff. And would you guys be ever so kindly as to smash that like and subscribe button, because every little bit helps in this crazy YouTube world. And today, guys, we are going to be making history because, believe it or not, this is going to be the greatest Zuckuss and 4-Lom video that you will ever see in your entire life. This is it. Don't get scared now, because we'll be covering Star Wars, War of the Bounty Hunters, 4-Lom and Zuckuss, issue number 1, a one-shot for the current Star Wars comic event, War of the Bounty Hunters. And this one-shot is written by Daniel José Older with the art by Zama. And guys, this issue is a doozy, so make sure y'all stay till the end of this video, because crazy shenanigans are about to ensue. Thus, without further ado, let's get weird. Alrighty folks, so this issue takes place following Zuckuss and 4-Lom's brutal yet unsuccessful battle against the one and only Boba Fett. And as a result of that battle, Zuckuss got his ass kicked, and 4-Lom ended up getting destroyed, though his head managed to remain intact. And after discovering that it was Jabba the Hutt who hired the two bounty hunters to take him out, Fett, basically as an FU to the big guy, went to Jabba's palace, carrying 4-Lom's head, and straight up told Jabba's people that if you guys keep getting in my way, then you're gonna end up like this head. And unceremoniously, Boba tosses 4-Lom's head right over the chasm. However, 'twas not the end of 4-Lom, beautiful people, because here in these opening pages, we are met with a group of Jawas outside of Jabba's palace. Now, unless you speak Jawa or Jawanese, however you want to classify it, then you're probably not going to understand what these guys are saying. But it's because of Zama's splendid artwork that we get a pretty good idea as to what's currently happening. But before we find out exactly what it was that the Jawas found, we pan over to the planet of Nar Shaddaa, where a beaten and a broken down Zuckuss is making his way through the depressing wet streets of Wormstew Town. Now, upon Zuckuss entering one of the nearest taverns, the bounty hunter is greeted by his friend Trot, who gives Zuckuss the rundown as to what's happened following his fight with Boba Fett. And upon learning of 4-Lom's supposed demise, it's abundantly made clear to us that Zuckuss is going through something related to his emotions. Basically, Zuckuss is depressed that his friend, the only friend who's ever understood him, is no longer with Zuckuss. We are then given a flashback showcasing one of the first jobs that both Zuckuss and 4-Lom had worked together on. Now here the group's employer, Deva Lompop, lets everyone know that a Calusty droid mechanic named Dr. Klurbitz has grown a little too big for anyone's liking. Territorial-wise, of course. And so she wants him dead. And whoever is first in taking out the doctor will earn an enormous amount of credits. And thus, the hunt begins. And from there, we follow Zuckuss. Now, because of his finding abilities, due to him being a Gan, Zuckuss is able to track the doctor's whereabouts with ease. But while Zuckuss is making his way towards the compound, he notices 4-Lom following him from the shadows, like a creep. Now, although this is technically the first job that these two are working together on, they're technically not partners yet, just to make that clear. Basically, this flashback is the inception of their partnership, but more importantly, their friendship. Now, eventually Zuckuss is ambushed by the Doctor's battle droids, and it becomes apparent to Zuckuss that he needs backup. Thus, it's here where the two bounty hunters decide to team up, because when Zuckuss and 4-Lom team up, they become unstoppable. And like a pair of badass mofos, the duo proves successful in taking out the opposing droids. And after coming up with some agreement, the two bounty hunters decide to work with each other. And thus, just like that, Zuckuss and 4-Lom are able to kill their target, earning the prize money, but more importantly, they become partners in crime, the best of friends. They become Zuckuss and 4-Lom. Now, this is where we switch back over to Tatooine, where we see the character of Ramzan, riding a dewback, doing his thing. Ramzan is then soon greeted by the Jawas whom we saw earlier, and the Jawa is granting Ramzan with a gift, to which we see Ramzan smile. Later, Ramzan meets with a cloaked figure, telling whomever it is that he's talking to that what he and the Jawas have in their possession is legit. And once the bag containing the head of 4-Lom is revealed, the mysterious figure cloaked in shadow is revealed to be a Callisto. However, this isn't just any Callisto, for this is the droid mechanic whom Zuckuss and 4-Lom had killed prior. For this is Dr. Kribbitz, and at long last, he will have his revenge, goddammit. Switching back over to Nar Shaddaa, likely days later, Zuckuss immediately begins to sense his friend's presence, 4-Lom's presence. And like a bat out of hell, Zuckuss rushes outside of the bar to locate his friend. Yet despite sensing 4-Lom, Zuckuss can't find him anywhere. But we soon learn that the reason Zuckuss is unable to find his friend is because 4-Lom isn't in the streets. 4-Lom is above him, like a spider who's about to prey on its victim. And boom, a newly upgraded 8-Lom, get it, 8-Lom, attacks Zuckuss, declaring that Zuckuss must die. Now Zuckuss is completely shocked by this because they were friends, they were partners, and so for Zuckuss, he's feeling pretty terrible. And although he's trying to get through to his friend, it's to no avail. And so seeing that there's no hope in the situation, Zuckuss gives up. But suddenly, before 8-Lom can kill his friend, Zuckuss's new friends from the bar attack 4-Lom, though they're more concerned in making sure that the fight doesn't destroy their entire neighborhood. And this is the moment where Zuckuss is like, you know what? Fuck you, 4-Lom. If you want to kill me so bad, then I'm gonna defend myself. Because from my point of view, 4-Lom, you've terminated our friendship. Therefore, you now must die. But before Zuckuss can land the killing blow, he stops halfway through, because he recognizes the craftsmanship that's been done to 4-Lom. And within seconds, Zuckuss realizes on who's to blame. And from there, our bounty hunter recognizes the scent of the perpetrator, the person responsible for 4-Lom's condition, Dr. Kribbitz. Now Zuckuss is confused because both him and 4-Lom had already killed the droid mechanic, but the villain informs Zuckuss they instead kill his identical brother, who, unlike Kribbitz, was actually a pretty good person, for he always tried to convince Kribbitz from walking away from his criminal lifestyle, to the point where he had enough and was ready to turn his brother over to the authorities. But sadly, the brother came across Zuckuss and 4-Lom, who mistook him for being the actual target. Thus, following his brother's death, Kribbitz has been laying low ever since, whilst in the meantime perfecting his craftsmanship. Kribbitz also managed to quietly put out the word that he was looking for his brother's killers, and when he was gifted the head of 4-Lom, Kribbitz thought that the best form of revenge was to reprogram 4-Lom into killing his best friend. Now Zuckuss admits that his story does deeply move him, and that he really is sorry about killing his brother, for the connection that Kribbitz and his brother shared reminds Zuckuss of his connection with 4-Lom. Yet despite all of this, and rather than just walking away, ending the cycle of violence, Zuckuss is like, fuck you, and shoots the villain, this time successfully killing him. Now once Kribbitz drops dead, the mechanism that's controlling 4-Lom drops as well, and from there Zuckuss destroys the device, declaring that 4-Lom, his friend, is now free. But unfortunately, 4-Lom doesn't seem to remember anything. Rather, he appears to be malfunctioning, thus walking away, leaving his friend Zuckuss alone once more. And that, folks, was War of the Bounty Hunters, Zuckuss and 4-Lom, issue number 1. And holy crap, does Older deliver a phenomenal story here. Zuckuss is, by all intents and purposes, our main focal point in this issue, and his character is really fleshed out. But it's not just a backstory about him and 4-Lom met and became friends. Rather, what this comic does brilliantly is showing us that Zuckuss is a completely different character without 4-Lom. He's socially awkward when it comes to conversing with other people, and without the presence of 4-Lom, it's almost as if a part of Zuckuss is gone. Thus, because of this, it allows us as the readers to emphasize with Zuckuss. Essentially, what this comic is about is friendship, and how far someone is willing to fight and hold on to said friendship. And sure, you know, 4-Lom's a droid, but to Zuckuss, that doesn't matter. 4-Lom's his one and only friend, and though in the end, Zuckuss is left by himself, we get a sense that deep down, Zuckuss is still willing to save his friend, no matter the cost. Also, the art in this book is flat out gorgeous. It's fantastic, it's very clean and tight, and I just want more of it. Overall, Zuckuss and 4-Lom, issue number 1, was a fantastic issue, and it's definitely worth the pickup if you're already reading the Star Wars comic event. Yet despite that, this issue is able to flesh out characters who were in The Empire Strikes Back for about 5 seconds. And so by giving a lot more depth to these two bounty hunters, I really want a Zuckuss and 4-Lom miniseries. because together, Zuckuss and 4-Lom are unstoppable. War of the Bounty Hunters, Zuckuss and 4-Lom, issue number 1, gets a sexy 9 out of 10. Giggity goo.